ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨਮੰਤਰੀ ਜਸਟਿਨ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਨੇ ਪਾਲੀ ਇੰਡੋਨੇਸ਼ੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ G-20 ਨੇਤਾਵਾਂ ਦੇ ਸੰਮੇਲਨ ਦੀ ਸਮਾਪਤੀ ਤੇ ਪੱਤਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ। ਟਰੂਡੋ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਸੰਮੇਲਨ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਚੀਨੀ ਰਾਸ਼ਟਰਪਤੀ ਸ਼ੀ ਜਿਨਪਿੰਗ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਈ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੱਸੀ। ਦੱਸਦੇ ਕਿ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਜਸਟਿਨ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਅਤੇ ਚੀਨੀ ਰਾਸ਼ਟਰਪਤੀ 3 ਸਾਲ ਬਾਅਦ ਇੱਕ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ ਤੇ ਮਿਲੇ। ਦੋਵਾਂ ਨੇਤਾਵਾਂ ਤੇ 10 ਮਿੰਟ ਤੱਕ ਵੱਖ-ਵੱਖ ਮੁੱਦਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਚਰਚਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ।
I've been very clear during this G20 that Russia's brutal war in Ukraine is appalling. After we learned the news of an explosion in Poland near the Ukrainian border, G7 leaders and other NATO allies had an important emergency meeting this morning. We need to remain calm and that we need to gather the facts and find out exactly what happened with a full investigation. One thing that's certain is that the loss of life in Poland was a consequence of Russia's latest indiscriminate attacks on Ukrainians. Russia firing a barrage of missiles during the G20 summit, which they were a part of, proves their reckless behavior and their blatant disregard for the international system. These missiles are killing innocent people and destroying civilian buildings, and are yet another demonstration of why it's so essential to continue supporting Ukraine. This afternoon, the British Prime Minister and I spoke with President Zelensky. We conveyed our condolences for the terrible loss of life as a result of Russian attacks. We stressed the importance of a full investigation into what happened in Poland, and we made it clear that Putin's invasion of Ukraine is ultimately to blame for this violence. I also had a call with President Duda of Poland. I offered my condolences and offered support for the investigation that will get to the bottom of what happened. Since the beginning of Russia's invasion, the Polish government and the Polish people have stood strong and stepped up for Ukrainians. We share their sorrow as we salute their strength and resolve. Canada and our allies are unified behind Ukraine. This week we announced that Canada will provide $500 million in additional military assistance for Ukraine, which builds on the $500 million from Budget 2022. In addition, we're extending the Canadian Armed Forces training mission of recruits of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the UK for another year until the end of December 2023. This week, we also sanctioned 23 individuals responsible for human rights violations against Russian opposition leaders. Those who support this invasion need to be held accountable, and we'll use every tool at our disposal. This war is, of course, tragic for Ukraine, and it's also bad for all of us, for all G20 countries, and indeed for the whole world. It's disrupting supply chains, it's creating global inflation and food and energy crises, and making life more expensive for people everywhere. This instability has repercussions for everyone. If we want to make our world more stable and our communities safer, we also have to fight climate change and protect the environment everywhere. This week, we're announcing new initiatives to do just that. We're supporting Indonesia as it scales up its adaptation efforts, including in response to rising sea levels. In addition, with partners here in Indonesia, we'll help protect or restore tens of thousands of hectares of tropical coastal vegetation.